Karibuni. Hi guys, welcome to yet another video, and welcome to my channel, Sisters Keeper. Kindly consider subscribing if you like the video. If you like the content, share with your friends, and if you have any helpful suggestions on how to improve, kindly let me know. And also please feel free to just note for me in the comments below if there are other topics you'd like for us to discuss. I'm also open to that, and thank you so much for tuning in and for clicking. So today we are going to be discussing a very interesting topic, which is finance. And a lot of us women, we are actually the most in the world, and still we are the people who are almost worse off financially. And so I think even as women, and even in your circle of friends, if you're friends who personally you guys don't sit down and discuss finances, I think you're a friendship that is not helping each other go anywhere. As women, we must sit down, we must discuss how to make money, and after making this money, how are we able to ensure that this money works for us, that we move in a direction where we are growing financially, and also in terms of our assets, what we own, and by ourselves. And this mentality of having to get everything from men, nah, not on this channel. You guys, we have to move past that. We have to look for ways in which we can make money ourselves, and after we have made it, how we can keep it within ourselves also, or within our circles. Because if you have a friend who bakes and you can order cake from that friend, why are you having to go and buy a cake from God knows where? Support that friend. Keep money rotating within the circle of friends. Support each other. If you have a friend who is selling tomatoes, or someone who started a farm and they're selling spinach, go buy spinach from them. So also being able to support each other economically is us standing with our friends and supporting each other. There is no other way we can survive financially if we do not do that. So we are going to look at the first point. And the first point for us to be able to navigate these times is to be brutally honest with ourselves. I find that for a lot of us, we are not very honest with ourselves when it comes to finances. It's important to know how much you make, what are your capabilities, and what you can afford and what you cannot afford. We all want to live this good life that we see, this good, beautiful, grand Instagram life. But for a lot of those people, the kind of money that they spend even on whatever they have, either they didn't make that money themselves, they're getting it from somewhere, or the other people who are actually spending money that they have are celebrities. But everyone who is trying to save a coin, who is trying to keep money, as much of the money they make themselves, you'll not find them splurging on things that are unnecessary. And so the first tip towards navigating these crazy financial and harsh economic times is being brutally honest with yourself. Sitting down and telling yourself, I make 5,000 Kenya shillings. So if I'm making 5,000 Kenya shillings, I have no business going to buy a shoe that is 3,000 Kenya shillings. That makes absolutely no sense. And so as much as we are aspiring to grow and to be able to afford those kind of things, if we are not yet there, can we agree that we are not yet there? And that is when you call yourself, as I say with some friends of mine, you call yourself for a meeting and tell yourself, I cannot be able to spend this kind of money because of A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. And because you're the one who knows yourself to the T, you're able to say, I can't do this because of this, because of that. And you're able now to tell yourself, okay, fine, I'm making this 5,000 bob. So how do I grow with this 5,000 bob? You cannot grow with 5,000 bob that is your boyfriend's. That's money that will not help you in any way. Money that is not in your control is not money that will help you. The money that is able to grow you, that is able to do something for you, is the money that you make yourself. So make that 5,000 bob work for you. That's the first point. The second point is budgeting. Oh my goodness. I don't know who is worse at budgeting than me, but as I get older, or as I am older now, I have understood the importance of budgeting. It is so, so important. And right now we have so many money apps or financial apps that can help us to budget, plan, see what we need to do. They're like 10,000 apps. Before we go download all those apps that really don't help our lives, we must have a financial app on our phones to help us to budget. And personally for me, I prefer the old fashioned way, which I sit down and I write everything that I need to do for the month, write everything that that needs to be done, what is a priority, what is not a priority. After I do that, I pay the bills that I'm paying. Then what is left, if I can but bills must be paid. Let's first agree, all your bills must be paid. That's why you cannot live in a house that is 30k and you make 32k. It doesn't make sense. So you have to move to a cheaper house. And that's why I'm saying it also comes down to honesty, because when you're budgeting, you're very honest with yourself about the money you can and you cannot spend. So it comes down to budgeting. So like your bills must be paid. You must know what are your bills. If there are 3 bills, they must be paid. And for me, that's what I personally do. I first get bills off my hair. But before I even get to the bills, within my budget, I have to make sure that that budget is within my means. It is not within someone else's means. It is not somebody else you're going to supplement your budget. Even if your boyfriend is the king of England, always make sure you have your own money. Live within your means. Because even if anything happens, you're able to scale down. You don't even have to scale down, because for women, we don't scale down very well. But at least you're able to save face and progress from there. Number 3 is have like-minded friends. My goodness. In this time and age, I cannot overemphasize this point of having like-minded friends. And like-minded friends is friends who understand and know your situation. They know you, they know your situation. Or even if they don't know your situation, but at least they seem to be going or moving towards a particular goal. If your goal is to save more, why do you have friends who want to go out all the time? Oh guys, hey, let's go for coffee. Oh guys, let's go out. Oh guys, let's do this. It's always one activity after the other, and no one ever says, oh, by the way, guys, can we sit down? How can we look into ways in which we can save more? So there's no, you can have going out friends and you want to save more. And because of the kind of peer pressure we have in this time and age, and everyone wanting to look like they're a billionaire at the age of 5, we really must be keen about the friends we have. Our friends must have the same financial goals that we also want in our lives. If you want to go back to school, you want to have friends who also have the same goal or are looking towards the same thing, so that you can grow each other and so that you can encourage each other. Number 4, what are your long-term plans? Anytime you're budgeting, we also have to consider what are our long-term plans. Maybe you want to buy land, you want to buy a car, you want to go back to school, you want to invest more. So these are plans that will affect your monthly budget, because you must hive off some amount to be able to pay for whatever investment you want to make. And so this again, you see, also comes down to also the kind of friends you have. Because as much as we want to say that relationships are not important, but they almost always affect our day-to-day lives. And because of that, we have to look for ways in which to mitigate. And the best way, I think, is get friends who think like you. And as they say, you can't hang out with ducks and hope you are an eagle. It doesn't work like that. If you're with ducks in the mud, you are a duck. If you want to be an eagle, there are sacrifices that you have to make. And so sometimes you just have to tell some friends goodbye if they don't fit into your long-term goals, or if they don't fit into where you want to go. But trust you me, 20 years down the line, you will not regret at all. Then 5, join a money saving scheme. Just look for somewhere that even if you have no idea what to do with that money at that particular time, that you're always saving. Like, you must make saving a habit. This is one of the habits I am painfully trying to grow, slowly, but slowly and surely gets you there. And so what you do, you can open a fixed deposit account. The interest might not be as much, but at least you're keeping something. At least there's something you have kept, and you're sure that money is there. If you need to do something important, not just anything, but if you need to do something important, you can just go take off a bit of your money and go and do whatever you want to do. You can join a SACCO. Actually, SACCOs have very good interest rates in terms of saving, and even they encourage that saving culture, because even when you borrow, you always borrow against your savings. So you're not borrowing against money you do not have. It's money that is there. It's money that you have saved. So it encourages you to save, and especially when you're in your 20s, because that is when sometimes you have a lot of money and you're prone to spending your money on, I don't want to call it nothing, but it's always, when it comes down, by the end of the day, when you start buying diapers, you realize it's nothing. You should do most of your investments and your savings in your 20s. And as much as you want to tour maybe, or you want to do stuff, there's a lot of things to do in your 20s, but at least make sure you're saving. Even if you're not thinking of buying a 5-story building or buying 10 acres of land somewhere, but at least make sure you're saving, because in that saving culture, by the time you're 30, even if you're thinking, oh, I would like to do this, you have the savings. And be very disciplined that you don't touch your savings for anything. Try as much as possible to make sure your savings are your savings. There's a crisis in the family, let them learn how to survive without your savings. There's a crisis somewhere else, let it be done without you getting into your savings. These savings have to be a matter of life and death to enable you get that discipline of saving. So as we've said, be very honest with yourself, budget, have like-minded friends, evaluate your long-term plans accordingly, and then join a money saving scheme. It may not be much, but that little, when you do at least those 5, and be very honest with yourself, because I realize finances goes down to honesty. You just have to be honest with yourself. And as I said, even friends, you can have a friend who is a billionaire, and you have 1 shilling in the bank, and they will not pressure you into things they know that you cannot afford, but you will work towards getting there. That is the point. We are all working towards getting financially stable, because let me tell you, when you get kids, it's a whole different ball game. Totally, it's a whole different ball game, and we're going to look into that also. So feel free to share the video, feel free to comment. Let me know if there are any other topics you'd like us to discuss.